Hello, this is Darshini In Spirit, and we're covering snow in this video. We're filming on November 16th, 2020. So we're going to cover a bit of this year to the end. And the snow, I had said in my previous video last year, I believe that we're going to experience a what would you call an Indian summer. So it will be late in summer. As of today, actually, we're hitting in Nevada 75 degrees and a bit more in certain areas. So, and that's lower half the country. We are getting some snow, but I'm talking about blizzards, not general snow. So the first expected one that I do see is coming in around the 18th of November. Sorry, December. I apologize. December. So the 18th of December is it's considered a blizzard. It'll bring in anything from 8 to a foot and a half, maybe as much as that, and that'll be more or less a foot and a half to 2 feet up here. But it will blanket round about here. Here, and then what we're going to experience then on the 22nd to the 24th-ish, and I don't believe there'll be light snow on the 25th, but obviously certain states are going to experience a white Christmas. But this blizzard is going to be a bit more aggressive, and it'll cover more or less the top half of America, and it'll come in that way. So we are going to experience snow up there, and that will be about nearly 2 feet to maybe 3.5 feet in these areas here. Then we're going into January, and I'm going to be very quick here. January 5th, we expect a smaller blizzard, and it really section off into this area. And I'm afraid always that does tend to get it, and we're here. And it's really, obviously, systems that are coming down from the north. Unfortunately, Canada, as usual, will get quite a few snowstorms. So there's nothing I could do at the moment for that. I will, regarding Canada, telling you about it. I have that covered in a separate video. So going onwards, the next major, and this is going to be a nasty one, January 25th. It'll last for 3 days, 2 to 3 days, maybe even 4. And that is pretty aggressive, and it's dumping about 4 feet. In one area around about here, it's dumping about 5 to 6 feet. Okay, so it's going to be nasty. New York is going to get it, but not as badly. It's as if it's coming in from this area here. Okay, it's a system coming in from northwest. All right, just scanning, and February 16th, you may think there's going to be a really hard blizzard coming in on February 2nd, but quite frankly, it's a mild snow compared to the next one coming in. So February, let's see, I'm just scanning, I apologize, 15th to the 18th is going to be another storm system. That is very aggressive. I see even hail, and it covers, it's a system that literally, Colorado, all of this is going to get hit, even as far as even areas in Texas. This is a system that just wipes over the whole of this state. Doesn't go as far. There's cold weather coming into Florida, and you know, in the mountains in Nevada and Oregon and Utah, everything. But it really is like this, that it gets hit with snow, and that way. So just be warned, that is a very aggressive system. It lasts even as much as 5 days. I'm seeing hail, wet snow, a lot of danger. We're looking at record cold, of course, coming in, which I might as well bring in. We are going to hit and break, as I have said in the last, I don't know how many years, we are hitting and breaking records in cold and in heat. In 2021, we're going into extremes that we've never experienced before, at least not in spotty times in the centuries before, but this is something that's far more, I wouldn't say stable, but it's more consistent with the breaking of records, and the lower temperatures are maintaining as with last year, but these are longer. And I just want to warn everybody, please take precautions and have extra food, especially in the northern states here. Have extra food on hand. Look out for neighbors, please, and elderly who are infirmed, vets who can't get to things. Just care about everybody else as well as your family. All right? Okay, so we've gone through February, and that's more or less the hardest system. But there's another one coming in. It's going to be a long winter, as I said. There's one coming in roundabout. It may come in at the end of February, the day before the last day of February, but it'll go into the 3rd of March. Now that one is kind of, it's excuse me, too much talking. It sounds weird, but it's like a zigzag, where it's like a W and it zigzags, but that's where I'm talking about the extremes coming in like that, in here and coming down and then going back up like that. So it's Nebraska, really Kansas, that kind of misses it, but Colorado is getting hit. All of these states, not so much Portland, but in the mountains in Oregon, but Vancouver onwards. So like that, it's going to get hit. So be warned about that one. But the extreme snow that I'm seeing are drifts of 4 to 5 feet, and that's in this kind of curvature here. And needless to say, Canada actually gets more. So it's more or less dumping it, but it's really waning out when it comes to move south off from Canada. Okay, March 13th through the 16th, 2-3 days, you'll see a system, and this one, it sounds weird, but it does look as if there are tornadoes coming in, which it's covered in another video, but it's so electric, the storm, that there are, looks like tornadoes coming in, and that's coming in from here down here. It's a system that's coming in from this side out off the coast and then starting with rain, but it gets heavier and colder. It's as if it picks up from weather systems from Canada, or at least, the north, and then that gets into wet snow and moves across more or less to here. Doesn't quite reach the east coast, but it wanes after that, but it does cover a swath of the United States. April, I'm just going into April. April 16th, there's one that's coming in, but it's a lot of really rain, which means flooding, which is another video. But anyway, it's coming in this way, and it really hits, how can I say this? It really hits that way, okay? And it's coming in from there, but it hits horizontally. And that is bringing in snow in the upper regions, but rain down here. So there's flooding and melting snows on in the mountains, okay? We are looking at snow right through June 30th, and not in obviously lower states, but we are going to experience snow right through June 30th. Even as much as July 5th, you'll see snow activity in the higher regions. So that's going to be quite a long winter, but we'll talk about the heat and everything else in another video. Hope that helps, and I'm making it short and sweet this year. See you on the next video if you're going to continue. Bye. So flooding, just quickly again, all of these are going to be quick and short and dirty, because I don't think people are really interested in these. I might be stopping it, to be honest. This may be the last year. So flooding, I am seeing a lot of the rainstorms coming in, and the flooded areas I'm still seeing. Texas, I'm afraid. There's in, and this is due more or less to be honest, with the activity of snow melts, and I'm seeing that the Mississippi is going to run over because the snow level is going to be pretty high. Obviously, I covered that in the snow. So that one's going to break its banks. There are several local rivers that are going in and breaking their banks. Sorry, I am so sorry. I keep on reiterating this. I hope I am wrong, and I don't care if I am wrong. But I'm just telling you what I see. So the Mississippi and a lot of the other tributaries are near to overflooding stage. So be careful and have sandbags ready for your property. Make sure the insurance is paid up, obviously. Take pictures of inside your house of your things. This is all part of that video I put up last year to take care of things before they happen. And that was really to do with COVID. But this pertains to any emergency situation. So the rain that I'm talking about here is in all of the it's really in this midsection. We are seeing some flooding in Seattle, in Portland, in lower areas of Oregon, but really it's they're going to see a lot of deluge here, by the way, because these are a lot of rainstorms coming in that are weather systems that are coming and hitting there. There's flooding in LA. Across here, there's to do with another flooding system. There's a hurricane, which I did forget to say, that there are hurricanes coming in from the west coast here, and are going to be hitting about 3 probable ones in Honolulu through Hawaiian Islands there, and it's mostly coming in from here, and there's one coming in from there that I see one anyway. It's like a system, probably a tropical, but it's coming really from here, and then quite a few coming in from the lower coast here from south, and hitting, not direct hit, but close enough that the weather systems are going to be hitting LA, San Diego, and the Baja Harbor, California. And I got sidetracked as usual, but that is to do with flooding too. I'm seeing New Mexico get flooding, Tucson, Phoenix, and a few other areas in there. Colorado, there's heavy system there coming in. Atlanta, really Texas, San Antonio, a lot of this area, but that's to do with a hurricane hitting that area. That's going to hit that area, which I will reiterate, it's to do with, I will get online and try and tell you where it's going to actually hit nearer the time, okay? Since you can't really predict it until 2 or 3 days before, I'm going to try and give you a bit more lead time than that. They seem to be going a bit erratic. Miami, Naples. Anyway, this coast here, that's to do with the tropical storm. These areas, the beaches, I'm seeing that there's, in the winter, around about March, April, I'm seeing flooding, but in June, July, I'm around about New York in there, there's flooding there. In lower areas in New Jersey too. So I don't know what's going on there. That's really a storm system. So you're going to see a lot more rain systems, but really to do with this way. So it's like that. And these are the more or less banded rain storms that are coming in. This area is going to see less rain, unfortunately. So don't expect that. Las Vegas may get some of the storms, flash flooding, but it won't. We've gone through about 215 days in Las Vegas without rain, significant rain, where that's very unusual. So obviously something's changed, not for the good, obviously. So that's it for rain. Lightning. Now, I did put that last year that lightning seems to have changed, and it's got more intense, and it's a different type of lightning. But apparently something's gone wrong, is kind of correct on that, only because what we have been experiencing, as an example to that, in Oklahoma in September, there were 30,000 lightning strikes within an 8-mile area, and that was cloud to cloud as well, inclusive. But lightning has changed around the world, where it's getting far more intense. It is probably associated, and obviously it is, quite frankly, associated with the change of climate, the warmer climate, heat increasing, as I said. In the heat video, I did forget to tell that we are going to experience a high temperature and death value of about 132, not 130, but 132 to even 130, probably up to 136. We are experiencing records breaking there, but for lightning, we are going to see far more of it with, and that's why tornadoes too in that activity. But for the rainfall, which I'll cover in another one, in America, the lightning is going to be followed with, in some certain areas, with large hail. And these are golf-sized, if not larger-sized, hailstones, even as big as sometimes a tennis ball. And in Florida, throughout this midsection here, you're going to experience a lot of the lightning. Okay, so just be warned about that one. Take precautions. If you're in water, get out of the pool. I can't believe people still stay in the water in the beach or in the pool. Yes, I've seen it, unfortunately, with children. Parents are clueless sometimes. Not all, obviously, but some are. Just take precautions, please. Thank you. Hi, Canada. So let's go and do snow, which, needless to say, you get slammed with. There seems to be a heavier concentration of snow this coming year, and it starts more, it's already started, but I'm talking about the really heavy snowstorms. It's not even snowstorms, blizzards, and extreme snow is coming in, and it's coming in really this way, coming from here through. So it's from here. That's where the denser snow pack is coming in. Yes, you're going to get snow here, but quite frankly, it's not anything like this area from here onwards that you're going to get it. So I hate to say it. I'm sorry I'm giving you such bad news. I know you're not exactly not gets used to it, but you're going to see a lot of that. On Alaska, even though it's America, they are going to see far more snow than they have done in the last 5 years. So that is going to be on a build-up. So Alaska will be actually experiencing far more snow, and I'll talk about Alaska separately. I apologize, I should stick with Canada. So I'll do that on another video. So basically, you're going to see that the snow is going to be a heavy snow. You're going to get, remember I talked about lightning, and I put it in this video too. It's, even though it was in America, but it's really for the world. The lightning has changed. I don't know if this is true. If somebody from Canada, let me know. And that is that the Canadian, so in Canada, the weather, the lightning seems to be very, very intense. And it's far more lightning strikes than they've had. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know if it's true. But that is going to cause certain fires later on this year. It's going to be also lightning in snow. which I'm seeing a lot too, but it's in mostly about this section here. Don't know if it's because of the Hudson Bay and the water and the water here. So that's on the snow. Then let's go to the next subject. See you on the next video. Okay, and we are in Europe. I'm going to kind of cover Middle East as well in here. But basically, we're going to snow. Snow, I hate to say it, round about February, there's going to be a devastating downfall. And it's about the 25th of February, and most of England is covered. Ireland, Sweden, I mean, the system is massive. It's really covering quite a bit, not so much at the edge of Ukraine on the east, but quite frankly, it's mostly this circle here that gets covered and the higher elevations here, but quite frankly, it's to do with a horrible snowstorm coming in. Iceland gets far more snow then, but basically this is like a good anything from 4 feet, 3.5 to 8 feet of snow in certain areas where it's just dumping and dumping. So I am worried about that. As I always say, for the countries who receive a lot of snow, please look out after elderly neighbors, people who can't get out, stock up in food now, canned food at least. Make sure that they have electricity or a backup or at least a warm blankets to make sure that they're okay, water. There's going to be a lot of subsequent problems there because even the pipes are freezing. The temperatures are going to go extremely low and hit records, I'm afraid, break records in several of these countries where it's extreme cold, and it starts really around about the 5th of January and continues until really April 22nd is where all your months of snow and your extreme weather. I only talk about one system. There's about 7 systems coming in, but 3 of them are the ones that are really going to affect you, where you're getting tons of snow, and or it's freezing and it's sleet and snow, or it's hailstorms, which is more here, hailstorms that you're getting here in England too, but it's really on the edge here. So please be careful, beware, be careful driving, your extremities, your fingers, and even to the point where in this area here, they're getting a lot of frostbite and stuff like that. So it's hitting more extreme cold in Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, obviously, but really this area here in Russia, this whole section gets into extreme colds, which they haven't seen for about 40 years. So be careful of that. The systems are going to be obviously on a high level, mountains. So Kazakhstan, all of these Middle Eastern countries on the higher elevations are going to get hit badly regarding not only snow, but I'm talking about extreme cold. And that's what I'm really worried about. So please be careful. Now, that is snow. And I'll go to the next one for flooding. Flooding, Europe. Yes, obviously snow has to melt, but I'm talking about other things too. So you're going to get deluged with rain. Let's talk about England and Ireland. But there's a rain system that comes in from here that literally is like a deluge, and you're seeing a lot of right through England, I'm afraid, right through Scotland too, London, Great Britain, Ireland, all through. And it's been deluged, and I'm seeing about a good 2.5 to 3 feet of rain, and it is just soaking. It's cold, thanks to the English Channel, but it was always cold for me when I lived there. But basically it's at least 2.5 to 3 feet of rain. And that's coming in more in March. Intermittently, there are, when they, the snow melts, you're going to get brief floods. But the flash flooding I'm worried about is the system that's coming in March. May, there's another one. End of June, July 21st to the 27th, really. There's all kinds of weather systems, but it's hitting mostly this part of England. So southeast, London, Thames. And Thames, actually, I see is reaching its... it can even go over. So I'm sorry to say that the Thames will flood over, break its banks there. So be careful of that. You're going to see more sleet and not only snow, but sleet. So be careful of that, freezing rain. And you're going to get far more colder weather. It is shifting into extremes. So that's just in England and Ireland, right through to Scotland, obviously, Scotland, Great Britain, and Ireland. So on here, I'm seeing that the same thing happens, but the systems, the rain is going to be, let's see. I'm seeing floods in Sweden, Norway, and Finland, Lithuania, Poland. Denmark actually is getting quite a bit. It's as if there's a system coming in and it moves this way. And it literally touches Scotland, but quite frankly is not as devastating as in Sweden. And here's the center, but it reaches out like that and it goes through there. There's another system that comes in, and there's Spain, round about May, there's a flooding in Maine, Madrid, and most of the cities down here, not so much in Barcelona. In France, there's a lot of crop ruination, I'm sorry to say, for the grapes, for the wine, and that's all over. Not so much in Paris, but in the provincial areas. Germany, I'm talking about downtown Belgium, it's in this area here, that even in Italy, they're seeing that. Then there's Venice and Rome. Yes, it'll start flooding again, another 1.5 to 2 feet, I'm afraid. There they'll see that the sea is rising, so they're going to see snow there. Greece, flooding. I'm talking about flooding. Turkey, and in there, there's a lot of mountains and ranges I'm seeing in here that are going to actually produce, when the snow melts, there's going to be some devastation on flooding into local villages, I'm sorry to say. All right? All right, next video. Okay, I'm just going to go over South Pacific here a bit, and it's really New Zealand, Australia first. But what I'm seeing is this area here seems to be very sensitive to climate change, and it's seeing the forefront of the climate change, where it's experiencing the intensity of the flooding and the flash flooding and the fires and lightning. It's a lot to do with it. I really see that the lightning is like in a curvature, a crescent, where it's all of this area up here, but it's literally this whole area is covered and more intense with the lightning strikes. So the flooding I'm seeing is going to be quite devastating in the next few months until about May, June, and where it kind of starts leveling off. But there's floods everywhere in Australia, in the Northern Territories. I'll talk about fires in a minute, but basically we're seeing flooding as much as anything from 2 to even 8 feet in certain areas, in the lower level areas, where it just is too much to bear. And these people sadly, these souls have already been hit how many years, and it just seems to be getting worse. The flooding is only, how can I say, aggravated into a worse condition because of the trees have been devastated with the fires from last year, which I believe unfortunately was correct, where it was all alight. That's on last year's video, or this year's video earlier. But basically, you're going to see a lot of flooding, and the majority is going to be the systems are going to be more aggressive here, where there's more floods in this circular or crescent area, in this area, than and then this tip here, and that's where the flooding is. I'm more obviously concerned about the animals, what's left due to that devastation. So be careful and take warning about that, please, okay? And these are a lot of weird activity and storms that are coming in that are bringing it in from here and from here, okay? Now, next one is fires. Africa, I'm seeing a lot of flooding, and the flooding is from here right through here. But you've also got a lot of, the flooding is bad. It's great that you want to get the water, but unfortunately it's grouped with about 4 or 5 months of pure dryness and devastation. So it's just, I'm so sorry to see that. There is a outbreak of, it's like Ebola but not, but it's coming in from here. I don't know why, but its concentration is here. There's a few infected people, 3 that I see, that it's kind of spreading it through this area. So that is something on top of COVID they're dealing with, okay? But it's concentrated in this area. Few riots, obviously riots and changes of government in 2 places, but I'm not going to really get into that. I don't think they have even time to watch this. All right, thank you for joining me. So flooding, just quickly, as I said, there are going to be floods in Sri Lanka, and this is going to be mostly because of a storm coming in this way, but this whole area is going to be flooded. I mean, it's not exactly a tsunami. There are going to be earthquakes, and it could be associated with a tsunami, but this one here all this is coastal flooding from here all the way through here. It's like that basin is really flooded 3 times to nearly 4 times next year, sorry. Okay. Flooding in areas where it's low-level areas, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Osaka, all of those are going to be flooded yellow, and here that I'm seeing. China. And the lower level Philippine islands as well, and Indonesian islands, I'm afraid. But there's a lot of, the rain seems to be, the monsoons seem to be longer and heavier rain, and that's what I'm a bit more concerned about it. Okay. Asia. Now, Asia is going through quite a few huge typhoons, and it's to do with the planet change, I'm afraid. And this is to do, they're going to see a total of 7 devastating typhoons. I mean, level 5. And one is going to really hit right through this. I mean, touch, not into Papua New Guinea, thankfully, but literally, it goes from here. And the storm system's massive. This typhoon is massive. And it moves like this towards Japan, but it peters out. But that one is devastating in the winds because it has time to really accumulate these islands here are going to be more or less Fiji, Vanuatu, all of those islands are going to be in the eye is about here. I mean, it moves like this, so it is going to be affected with the kind of the shadow of it on the outskirts here. Another one will be coming in from here and then go through literally a loop and go hit the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and that way. And that is a nasty one too. That's like a 5, and if there's a 6, but that is nasty, that one. Massive system again, typhoon. There's one coming in from here which is going to hit Australia. And that one is going to not directly hit it, but that's like a level 3 to 4, but it's got a lot of flooding here because of that system. And it's on this coast here. New Zealand gets it as well on the outskirts. There's one coming in from here, which is funny, but anyway, I'm seeing it, and it's coming in like this, like this, and heading towards like Thailand, but it's not. More like it's kind of making like a loop. It's from here, but it makes a loop into India and Bangladesh, and that system. Sri Lanka gets it, India gets it, Bangladesh, that's when it really gets it. It's kind of from here, but it's built up, so that's level 4, and that's here. All right, Burma, and hits it. So there's a lot of flooding, heavy flooding in the northern and southern tips of India and northern of Sri Lanka. And Bangladesh is really going to be devastated. I'm seeing massive floods here from other storms as well, I'm afraid. Sorry to say. I know I'm kind of covering touches of Pacific, but I'll try and do that separately. Then for Japan, well, we're still talking about extreme weather. The lightning is going to be different too, so watch it. Those are going to start all kinds of electrical storms too. A huge amount in Australia, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, some in Thailand, but Burma, India, and Sri Lanka. But it's really to do with this state, this arranged, this area here. I'm just talking about Asia. Okay?